Let's have a quick read on one of the most popular Christian passages, Ephesians chapter 2, starting at verse 8. For by grace are you saved through faith, that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. For we are his workmanship, created. So that's where people stop, right? For by grace are you saved through faith, not that of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. And they stop there and say, look, it's not by our works, it's not by our obedience, it's just by saying we believe in Jesus. Not knowing that's not even his name, not knowing the definition of grace is divine influence on the heart, which is conviction. And that's you can see a prime example of that in Titus 2:11 through 14, and 1 Corinthians 15:10. Grace is conviction that teaches us and motivates us to work and obey God when we listen to it. All right? And also not understanding that the works being referred to here are the works of sacrificial law that we're not justified by, and the works of self-righteousness that we're not justified by, because Yeshua has finished sacrificial law in John 19:30. That's what he's quoting in Deuteronomy 30. He's quoting Deuteronomy 31:24 through 26. And Romans 10 talks about this self-righteousness. Mark chapter 7 talks about the commandments of men. You're not justified by this self-righteousness, your own commandments, your man-made commandments. You're not justified by sacrificial law, right? But the true grace of God will do what it says in the next verse here. For we are his workmanship, created in Yeshua unto good works. Saying, okay, so we are created to do good works, which God has before ordained that we should walk in them. This is the Holy Covenant. This is the Ten Commandments. Wherefore remember that you being in times past Gentiles in the flesh. Well, that would imply that if you're obeying God, you're no longer a Gentile. You're supposed to be a Gentile no longer. In times past, you were a Gentile. You see the same thing. These men turn the grace of God into lasciviousness to keep people in their Gentile ways. You see in Jude and 1 Peter 4. So in times past, Gentiles in the flesh, who were called uncircumcision by that which is called circumcision in the flesh made by hands. Well, now we know in 1 Corinthians 7:19 that circumcision is nothing and uncircumcision is nothing but the keeping of the commandments of God. That at that time you were without Messiah, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. Right? So this is all past tense. You were without hope. You were a Gentile. You were an alien to the commonwealth of Israel, but not anymore. Now you can be grafted in. You're made nigh by Yeshua's blood so that you can start to obey God, right? And strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world. But now in Yeshua Messiah, you who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Yeshua. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition, having abolished in the flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace. All right? People will, again, try to say that that's talking about, oh, yes, he got rid of the Ten Commandments. No, Paul gives a similar account to this in Colossians 2, like, say, 12 through 17. You go read that, and that makes it clear to you that these law of ordinances were the man-made handwritten, the handwritten ordinances put on the outside of the ark until they were finished, and that was sacrificial law. So Yeshua took away sacrificial law. There is no more difference between the Jew and the Gentile. Everyone who obeys God's commandments is part of the commonwealth of Israel. You can be of Jewish descent and be far from the commonwealth of Israel in the kingdom terms. You can be a Gentile in the flesh, but be part of the commonwealth of Israel, because all Israel will be saved. Israel is who obeys God, who keeps the covenants of promise, who is grafted in, like Romans 11 tells you.